If you're watching this today, chances are you know what it's like to wake up and just not feel quite yourself anymore. Maybe you look in the mirror and remember the man you were a few decades ago, full of energy, strong, and ready for whatever life brought your way. These days, though, it might feel like your body has a mind of its own. Things slow down, especially where it counts, and intimacy can become a source of worry rather than joy. But I want you to know, you're not alone in this, and there's real hope ahead. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that's close to the heart for so many men over 60, but rarely discussed openly: how the right food can make a world of difference in your performance, confidence, and sense of manhood, even well into your golden years. Now, before we dig in, let me share a story that I think you'll find familiar. I remember a gentleman who came to see me not long ago. Let's call him Bill. Bill is 71, a retired teacher, grandfather of 3, and the proud owner of a stubborn old Labrador named Rusty. Bill had always been healthy, but over the past year, he noticed things weren't working quite the way they used to in the bedroom. He told me, "Doc, I don't need to feel like a teenager again, but I'd just like to feel like myself." That's an honest wish, isn't it? Bill's story isn't unique, and that's exactly why I'm making this video for you. If you're new here, I want to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience as a surgeon and medical advisor. My passion is helping men reclaim their strength, vitality, and self-confidence at any age, but especially after 60, when the world seems to stop talking about men's health in a way that really matters. Over my career, I've sat with thousands of men just like you, men who want answers that are practical, safe, and natural. And that's what we'll be talking about today, because you deserve to enjoy life fully, not just get by. I know that when it comes to men's health, especially as we age, there's a lot of confusion out there. Maybe you've seen all kinds of pills, supplements, and promises. You might have heard that it's just part of getting older, or even that nothing can be done. But here's the truth. What you put on your plate every day plays a much bigger role in your performance and well-being than you've ever been told. In fact, as a penis surgeon and men's health doctor, I can tell you that the right food choices can sometimes be even more powerful than a prescription. There's no magic bullet, but there is a foundation, a way to nourish your body that leads to stronger, more reliable performance, sharper confidence, and, yes, rock-hard results. You see, our bodies are remarkable machines, even after 60, but they need the right fuel. What we eat every day can either build us up or slowly chip away at our strength and stamina. For men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, there are certain foods that stand out, not fancy, expensive superfoods, but humble, natural options that science and my own experience show can make a meaningful difference in blood flow, nerve health, and testosterone balance. I want you to picture Bill again. He'd been avoiding talking about his concerns, even with his wife, for months. He felt embarrassed, frustrated, and honestly a bit alone. One day, after another disappointing night, he finally decided enough was enough and made an appointment to see me. We talked about his lifestyle, his habits, and, most importantly, his diet. It turned out, Bill's daily meals weren't doing him any favors. Like so many men, he'd fallen into a routine of convenience: white bread, sugary snacks, and red meat almost every night. He figured, "I'm retired now, I can eat what I want," but didn't realize these foods were quietly working against him, clogging his arteries and slowing down the very systems that make intimacy possible. Now, let's pause here for a moment, because I want to ask you something important. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you noticed changes that you don't like, but aren't sure where to turn or what to do about it? If this is hitting home, please let me know by tapping that like button, subscribing for more senior men's health advice, and tapping the bell so you don't miss future videos. And here's something special I do for this community. If what I'm sharing speaks to you, drop a simple yes in the comments. If not, that's okay, leave a no. I do personally review every comment, and your feedback shapes the topics I cover, so together we can help more men live their best lives. So, back to Bill. He wanted change, and he wanted it to be natural, no scary side effects, no embarrassing trips to the pharmacy. I asked him, "Bill, would you be willing to try a new approach with your meals? Nothing drastic, just a few changes that have made a real difference for other men." He agreed, somewhat skeptically, but willing to give it a go. We started by focusing on one thing above all else, because if you remember just one thing from today's video, let it be this: The food you eat can be your greatest ally in restoring strong, rock-hard performance, even after 60. And yes, there is one food in particular that I've seen make a dramatic difference for my patients. Now, I know you're probably wondering, what is this miracle food? Well, let me set the record straight. There's no one food that fixes everything overnight, but there are some that stand out for the way they support healthy blood flow and natural male performance. The number one issue I see in my practice isn't lack of desire or even low testosterone, it's poor circulation. The vessels that carry blood to that important area can get clogged or weakened over time, especially if our diets are heavy in processed foods, saturated fats, and sugar. Bill's meals had all the usual suspects: white bread, sugary desserts, fried foods, and not nearly enough of the foods that support a healthy heart and vibrant performance. After reviewing his diet, we started by adding a simple, powerful food: leafy green vegetables, especially spinach. You might be surprised, but spinach is loaded with natural nitrates, which the body turns into nitric oxide. That's a fancy term for a molecule that helps relax blood vessels, improve circulation, and support the healthy blood flow you need for strong, lasting performance. I told Bill, just one serving of spinach or another leafy green, every day, can make a world of difference for men over 60. And the best part? It's not just about intimacy. Better circulation means better brain function, more energy, and even stronger bones. It's a win all around. He agreed to give it a shot, swapping out some of his usual sides for a fresh salad or a handful of sautéed greens. We also talked about adding beets, which work in a similar way, but spinach was his go-to because it was easy and affordable. As the weeks went by, Bill noticed small changes first. He had a bit more pep in his step, less brain fog, and even found himself sleeping better. But the real transformation came about 6 weeks later, when he pulled me aside after a routine checkup. "Doc," he said, with a big grin, "I'll be honest, things are working a whole lot better. My wife's noticed too. That's the power of making the right changes. Small steps that add up to big improvements, not just in the bedroom, but in every part of life." Now, if you're thinking, is it really that simple? I get it. There's a lot of skepticism out there. But this isn't just one doctor's opinion. Decades of research back up the power of diet, especially foods rich in natural nitrates and antioxidants, to support male health and performance. And in my 30-plus years as a men's health specialist, I've seen it work for thousands of men like Bill, and I believe it can work for you, too. You deserve to enjoy your life, your relationships, and your own body, no matter your age. So, whether you're facing changes in your performance or just want to protect what you've got, remember, your fork is your most powerful tool. Every bite you take can bring you closer to the strength, confidence, and enjoyment you deserve. I want you to know that it's never too late to start making positive changes, and even the smallest steps can bring results that surprise you. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever tried adding more leafy greens to your meals? Did you notice any changes, big or small? And if you're willing to give it a try, type "yes" below. I'd love to hear your story and help you along the way. Remember, your feedback helps me shape future videos, and you're part of a community that cares about your success. If you're finding this helpful, please like, subscribe, and tap that bell icon. We're in this together, and I'm here to help you live your best years yet. Now, let's keep going deeper into how simple food choices can lead to a stronger, more vibrant you, no matter what the calendar says. When we left off, we were talking about Bill, the retired teacher who discovered the surprising power of leafy greens, especially spinach, to turn his energy and performance around after 70. You might be thinking, all right, Doc, spinach sounds simple enough, but can what I eat really make that much of a difference, especially at my age? It's a fair question, and one I've heard from so many men sitting right where you are. See, it's easy to underestimate how much our day-to-day meals add up. In your 20s or 30s, you might have gotten away with pizza or steak every night, but as the years go by, your body starts to keep score. The truth is, the blood vessels that support strong, lasting performance are a bit like garden hoses. When you're young, those hoses are clear, flexible, and let water flow freely. But over time, with the wrong foods and less movement, they get stiff, clogged, and don't deliver as well where you need them most. And unlike a car part, you can't just swap them out for new ones. But you can clean them out, gently and naturally, with the right choices. That's why Bill's turnaround wasn't just luck or wishful thinking, it was science in action. When he added that daily serving of spinach, he wasn't just changing what was on his plate. He was sending a signal to his body. I'm ready to take care of myself, even now. I want you to know, that message to your body can start any day, even if you've never been a health nut before. Let me share another side of Bill's story, because I think you'll relate. Bill didn't change overnight. In fact, the first week, he forgot to buy greens at the store, so he ended up eating the same old frozen dinners. He called me and said, "Doc, this is harder than I thought." But instead of giving up, we worked out a plan together. He put spinach on his grocery list, set reminders on his phone, and even got his wife involved. She started making her famous spinach omelet for breakfast, and Bill joked it was the best part of getting older. The lesson here is, you don't have to do it perfectly, you just have to do it. Progress, not perfection, is what leads to real change. And let me say this as clearly as I can. You deserve to feel strong, confident, and connected at every stage of life. I've spent over 3 decades as a men's health doctor and surgeon, helping men of all backgrounds, all ages, and all health conditions. The happiest, most fulfilled men I know are the ones who take small, steady steps, not those looking for quick fixes or miracle cures. That's the kind of journey I want for you. Now, if you're wondering why leafy greens make such a difference, let's break it down in plain English. These veggies, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, and even beet greens, are rich in something called natural nitrates. When you eat them, your body converts these into nitric oxide, a compound that widens your blood vessels. Wider blood vessels mean better circulation, and better circulation means stronger, more reliable performance, both in the bedroom and in your daily life. Think of it as oiling the engine so everything runs smoothly, instead of letting it get rusty and slow. But there's more to it than just spinach. Bill and I talked about other foods that support male performance naturally. I advised him to bring in a few more heart-friendly foods, like fresh beets, citrus fruits, and berries. Each of these works in its own way to protect those vital blood vessels. Beets are especially powerful. Just a small serving, whether roasted or as juice, can increase nitric oxide levels for hours. I know some of you are thinking, beets? I'm not a rabbit, but you'd be amazed at how tasty they are when roasted or blended into a smoothie. Bill was skeptical, but he tried. Once a week, his wife made a beet salad with oranges and walnuts. It wasn't fancy, but it was delicious, and Bill noticed he had more energy for his walks with Rusty. These small shifts didn't just change his body, they changed his outlook. He felt proud, not just of the results in the bedroom, but of being proactive about his health. I want to pause here and ask, are you seeing yourself in Bill's story? Have you ever tried making small changes to your meals, only to slip back into old habits? Or maybe you're just now thinking, I could do that. If that sounds like you, do me a favor. Hit the like button if you're finding this helpful, and subscribe for more practical advice made just for seniors. And I would love to see your answers in the comments below. Are you willing to try a new vegetable this week? Type yes if you are, or no if you're still thinking about it. I read every single response, and your feedback helps me make these videos better for all of us. Now, I'd like to take a moment to talk about something I see too often in my clinic. Men who are frustrated, anxious, or even ashamed because they think these changes are their fault or that it's just part of getting old. If you're feeling that way right now, I want you to know it's not your fault, and it's never too late to improve. I've helped men in their 70s and 80s discover new strength and intimacy just by making gentle changes to their diet and lifestyle. There's no age limit on feeling confident or enjoying a loving connection. For Bill, the best part of his journey wasn't just the return of his old spark. It was the sense of control he regained over his health and his life. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm back in the driver's seat." That's something I wish for every man watching this. You don't have to let age or old habits define what's possible for you. With every meal, you have a choice. Will you give your body what it needs, or will you settle for less? Let's talk about a typical day for Bill, once he got the hang of things. For breakfast, he'd have a spinach omelet or sometimes a simple smoothie with a handful of fresh greens and berries. Lunch might be a turkey sandwich, but instead of white bread, he chose whole grain. For dinner, he and his wife tried to add a serving of vegetables, sometimes sautéed kale, sometimes roasted beets. He didn't count calories, and he didn't punish himself for having a treat now and then. It was about building a routine that felt natural, not forced. I remember one day Bill came in with a story that made us both laugh. He was at a friend's barbecue, and someone offered him a hot dog. Bill smiled and said, "Thanks, but I brought my own salad." His buddies gave him a hard time, good-natured teasing, you know how men can be. But later that night, Bill felt proud. Not only did he stick to his plan, but he woke up the next morning with more energy than he'd had in years. This is what I want for you. Not perfection, but steady progress. If you slip up, that's okay. Tomorrow is a new chance. Each day, you can choose to build a stronger, healthier you, starting with what's on your plate. These small, simple decisions add up to real, lasting change, not just in performance, but in every area of life. If you're enjoying this conversation, remember to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss any of our senior men's health tips. And don't forget to share your story in the comments. Every yes or no lets me know what's working for you and what you'd like to learn more about. We're a community here, and your voice matters. As we continue, let's look even deeper at how what you eat interacts with other aspects of your health, and why the food on your plate is often the first, and most important, step toward restoring the confidence, energy, and intimacy you deserve. By now, you can see how Bill's journey with simple foods, like spinach, beets, and other colorful vegetables, helped him reclaim that spark he thought was lost forever. But you might still wonder, is this really possible for me? Can something as simple as what's on my plate make that much difference, even if I'm well into my 60s, 70s, or beyond? That question is at the heart of every conversation I've had with men over the years. The answer, I believe with all my experience, is a resounding yes. But let me show you why, and how this all connects to something every man over 60 cares about: feeling strong, confident, and truly alive in every area of life. A few weeks after Bill made those initial changes, he came back to my office with a new glow about him. He looked lighter on his feet, his handshake was firmer, and he carried himself with a quiet confidence that I hadn't seen before. I could tell something had shifted, so I asked him, "How are things going?" Bill laughed and said, "Doc, I'm not going to spill all my secrets, but my wife keeps giving me these looks like she knows I'm up to something." It's that sense of renewed connection, both to yourself and to your loved ones, that so many men hope for but quietly worry might be gone for good. The turning point for Bill, and for countless men like him, comes from understanding one simple truth: your body is designed to heal and respond at any age, as long as you give it the right building blocks. We often think of decline as inevitable, but in reality, most men over 60 still have the capacity for growth, improvement, and even a bit of surprise. That's what makes this journey so hopeful. Even if you've spent years with habits that weren't ideal, the minute you start feeding your body what it truly needs, things can begin to turn around. Let's talk a little more about why certain foods make such a difference. Remember those garden hoses we talked about? For strong, reliable performance, you need those hoses clear and flexible. Leafy greens and beets help relax the vessels, but there's another type of food that can work wonders for senior men: healthy fats. Foods like avocados, walnuts, and especially extra virgin olive oil. These fats support the health of your blood vessels and even help keep your testosterone at healthy levels. Bill was surprised when I told him to drizzle olive oil on his salads and toss a handful of walnuts into his morning oatmeal. "I always thought fat was bad for you," he said, "but the right fats act like a polish for your pipes, keeping everything smooth and strong." The key, as Bill discovered, is building a plate filled with color. The deeper the greens, reds, and purples, the more natural antioxidants and nitrates you're feeding your system. These nutrients work together to protect your blood vessels from damage, keep your heart healthy, and make sure you have the circulation you need not only for intimacy, but also for energy, memory, and overall well-being. It's all connected. When you support one system, you support them all. Now, let's go back to Bill's experience for a moment. Not every day was perfect. There were times when old habits crept back in. After a particularly tough week, he admitted to me he'd gone out with friends and had a burger, fries, and a couple of beers. The next morning, he felt sluggish and a bit discouraged. But here's the important part. Bill didn't give up. Instead, he remembered how good he felt when he made those better choices, and that was enough motivation to get right back on track. That's what I want for every man watching. Don't let one-off days set you back. Just focus on the next meal, the next step. If you've made it this far, you might be thinking of your own routines. Maybe you like a particular breakfast. Maybe you have your favorite dinner every Sunday night. I'm not here to take away the foods you love or make you feel guilty. My job, and my passion as a doctor, is to help you find the balance that keeps you strong and happy, while still letting you enjoy life's pleasures. That's why I encourage men to treat these food changes not as a punishment, but as an investment in themselves and the relationships that matter most. By the way, if you're finding value in these ideas, or even if you're just curious, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe for more senior men's health conversations. And remember, if you're open to trying something new on your plate, let me know in the comments with a yes. Or if you're still on the fence, that's okay too, drop a no. I personally read your comments and they shape the topics we explore together. Your feedback is the heartbeat of this channel, and it's how I know what matters most to you. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. It's not just about eating spinach or beets or even olive oil. It's about making a commitment to yourself. When you decide to add that serving of greens, or drizzle a little healthy oil, or swap white bread for whole grain, you're telling your body, I value you. I want more good years. That mindset shift is powerful, and it spills over into other parts of your life. Bill started out just wanting to fix things in the bedroom, but as the weeks passed, he found he was more eager to go on walks, had sharper focus during his crossword puzzles, and even joined a senior golf league. One good change led to another. And Bill wasn't alone. After I shared his progress in a support group, other men started coming forward. Some had struggled for years with embarrassment or fear that nothing could help. But when they saw Bill, just a regular guy, not a fitness buff or a health nut, making real, tangible improvements, they started to believe they could, too. That sense of community, of sharing stories and cheering each other on, is something I value deeply in my practice and on this channel. You might be surprised how much encouragement you can find just by connecting with others on a similar journey. If you're watching right now and wondering where to start, my advice is simple. Pick one food, maybe spinach, maybe beets, maybe a handful of walnuts, and add it to your daily routine for a week. Notice how you feel. Are you sleeping better? Do you have a bit more pep in your step? These little signs mean your body is responding. If you're up for it, keep going. Try new recipes, and maybe invite a partner or a friend to join you. Change is easier when you're not alone. I want to remind you that everything we're talking about is not just theory, it's what I've seen work for real men in their 70s, 80s, even 90s. I've been privileged to witness transformations that were both physical and emotional. The relief, the hope, and the pride that come from taking control of your health can't be overstated. I want that for you, and I want you to know that it's never too late. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you stay connected to our supportive, senior men's health community. And please, share your answer in the comments. Yes if you're ready to try, no if you have questions or concerns. I read every message because I truly care about helping you succeed. As we move ahead, I want you to hold on to this thought. The most important investment you can make isn't in a fancy supplement or a new gadget. It's in yourself. Every single day, with every bite you take. And with that, let's carry on and explore how these changes ripple outward, not just improving your strength and performance, but restoring joy and connection to your life in ways you might not have imagined. When you've lived as many years as we have, you come to understand that life isn't just about the big moments. It's about the little choices, every single day. The meals you share, the walks you take, the laughs with friends, and those quiet moments of connection with someone you love. Sometimes, all it takes is one small change, a serving of spinach at lunch, a drizzle of olive oil, or a handful of walnuts, to set off a ripple of good that touches every part of your life. That's what Bill discovered, and it's what I hope every man watching this will experience for himself. Bill's story is a reminder that transformation is possible at any age. After a few months of sticking with his new habits, he came in for a follow-up visit. This time, his wife came along, and I could see right away the difference in both of them. They were laughing, holding hands, and you could sense a quiet pride in how far they'd come. Bill looked at me and said, "Doc, I never thought a salad could do so much for a man." His wife chimed in, "It's not just the salad. He's got more energy, he's back to telling his corny jokes, and let's just say our evenings are a little more lively." They both laughed, and it was one of those moments that make my work truly meaningful. If you've ever doubted whether change is worth it, I want you to remember Bill's story. I've seen it happen over and over. Men who felt discouraged, who thought their best days were behind them, find a new sense of purpose and vitality just by paying attention to what they eat and taking small, steady steps. Your body is capable of responding to care and nourishment at any age. Science shows us, and real men prove it every day. It's never too late to feel stronger, more energetic, and more connected to yourself, to your partner, to life itself. One thing I hear from men all the time is, "I don't want to give up all the foods I love." And you know what? You don't have to. My advice is never about deprivation. It's about making room for foods that serve you well: leafy greens, beets, olive oil, walnuts, berries, while still enjoying your favorites in moderation. Bill didn't stop eating his beloved steak, but now he pairs it with a salad and skips the second helping of potatoes. It's about balance, not sacrifice. These small, sensible shifts add up over time, and the results speak for themselves. I want to thank everyone who's watched and supported these conversations. If you've made it this far, I know you care about your health, and you want to make the most of every year ahead. If this message has resonated with you, please let me know, tap the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for more real, practical men's health advice. And as always, share your thoughts in the comments below. Yes, if you're ready to make a change. No, if you have questions or doubts. Your honesty shapes this community, and I read every comment because I'm here for you. Let me share another piece of Bill's journey that I think you'll appreciate. After seeing such positive results, Bill became an ambassador for healthy living among his friends. He started inviting a couple of buddies over for lunch every week, and instead of their old routine of deli sandwiches and chips, they'd prepare something simple and nutritious together: a spinach and walnut salad, grilled chicken, or even a beet and berry smoothie. At first, his friends joked about it, but soon enough, they noticed they felt better, too. One friend even said, "Bill, I don't know what you've gotten into, but my wife says to thank you." Laughter aside, that's the power of community and shared encouragement. Sometimes, the hardest part is getting started. Maybe you're feeling skeptical, or maybe you've tried other things in the past that didn't work out. That's completely normal. The beauty of what we're talking about today is that it doesn't require perfection, just a willingness to try. Start small. Pick one food from everything we've discussed, maybe spinach, maybe walnuts, and add it to your plate. Notice how you feel. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small. And if you stumble, just pick up where you left off. Remember, age isn't a barrier. It's an invitation to live wiser, to use everything you've learned, and to pass on that wisdom to others. Bill didn't just change his diet, he changed his life, his relationships, and even inspired a few old friends to join him. That's a legacy worth building. As we come to the close of our conversation, I want to leave you with one final, important message. You have more control than you think. The foods you choose, the steps you take, the connections you nurture, they all add up to a life that's not just longer, but richer, fuller, and more satisfying. Your best days are not behind you. With the right fuel and a bit of encouragement, you can enjoy strength, intimacy, and joy at every age. If you're willing to take that first step, I'm here to walk with you. Like this video, subscribe, and join our community so you never miss the advice that matters most for men like us. And please, drop a yes or no in the comments. I promise, your voice matters, and I do read every single answer. Let's make the years ahead our strongest, most vibrant, and most joyful yet. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, stay strong, and remember, you are never too old to start living better.